continuing from the previous episode 1565. No. In an instant, when Qingfeng came back to his senses, a dazzling slash directly hit him. Shabu shabu. The power of this attack is already huge, not to mention that it has been doubled by Xiaoyan's own strength, so after hitting Qingfeng, even if Qingfeng defends in the fastest time, he was seriously injured on the spot. After all, although the rank of Tianqian ruler is not high, it can be improved with the improvement of the cultivator's strength. Tick-tock, the invisible sword energy slowly disappeared. In midair, Xiaoyan was unscathed, but his breath was a little weak. After all, moving the Sky Ruler to move the attack cost Xiaoyan a lot of fighting energy, but comparing the two, that Qingfeng on his body, there are countless scars, large and small, and traces of blood continue to emerge from the body. It is obviously not lightly injured, and his figure is very quiet in this space at this time. Asshole *** bastard. I think in the middle stage of the dignified 4-star fighting immortal, I would actually be defeated by a 3-star fighting immortal guy. It's ridiculous. Suddenly, the weakened Qingfeng burst into a roar, staring at Xiaoyan with a grim expression, wishing to eat Xiaoyan raw general. Go to hell. At this time, Qingfeng was seriously injured. Obviously, it was the best time to kill. Xiaoyan naturally would not leave behind troubles. Beheaded. Xiaoyan, I miscalculated this time, but next time I see you, I will make you kneel at my feet. Wang Om! A white pill suddenly appeared in Qingfeng's hand, and immediately crushed it. A bright white mist emerged, and Qingfeng's figure suddenly disappeared. Space moves. What a mistake. Xiaoyan immediately realized that something was wrong, but he was helpless when he tried to stop it, and he could only shake his head. Lord Xiaoyan, looking at Xiaoyan in the sky, who used the strength of a 3-star fighting immortal to defeat a 4-star fighting immortal or even nearly killed him, the third elder below said with a trembling voice. How is it, are you better? Xiaoyan went directly to a few people and found that their injuries had recovered a lot, and their fighting spirit had also recovered to the 5th or 6th level, so he immediately asked. Thank you, sir. However, the danger of belonging to the territory has not been completely eliminated. The Pavilion Master of Qingyun Pavilion and his subordinates are attacking the second elder. Once the second elder fails, the control of the territory will also fall into the hands of Qingyun Pavilion. Sir, please take action. Suddenly, several people present couldn't help but say, Bloodguard, take me away. The other people are here to rest and recuperate, and wait for your strength to recover. The first floor will come over to meet. Xiaoyan finished speaking and took the Bloodguard towards the depths of the crystal vein. Third elder, the disciples sent by the spiritual academy this time are quite extraordinary. Several figures next to him said, obviously the scene of Xiaoyan defeating Qingfeng just now made them convinced of Xiaoyan's heart. Hurry up and recover your Do Qi, we still have to fight them for life and death. Lord Xiaoyan, this time delaying time, I'll rely on you. After the third elder finished speaking, he closed his eyes and recovered his Do Qi. He knew that Xiaoyan's fighting ability it is tyrannical, but the Pavilion Master of Qingyun Pavilion is not a fuel-efficient lamp, and what they can do now is to restore their strength in the shortest time and go to support Xiaoyan before they can solve the predicament. Deep in the crystal vein. Second elder, your time is running out. How to decide? I think you should be a smart person. In a cave deep in the crystal vein, dozens of strong men surrounded an old man, and then the leader said, Ha ha ha, my dignified second elder of Wanwo sect, I can't do things like the seller's request for glory. The surrounded old man laughed at himself. It seems that you don't eat toast, and you eat fine wine. I'll ask you one last time, do it or not. Suddenly, the Pavilion Master of Qingyun Pavilion in the crowd also shouted. I'd rather die than do it. The old man said calmly. The Pavilion Master of Qingyun Pavilion brought a large force, which was not expected by the second elders. There are hundreds of people who are stationed in the crystal vein, but under the hands of the Pavilion Master of Qingyun Pavilion and the 2 4-star fighting immortals in Qingfeng, now the death of the death, the injury of the wound, turned out to be less than 10 people, and the crystal vein was facing the fall. The Pavilion Master of Qingyun Pavilion tried to let himself lead out the strong people in the 10,000 Fire sect, so as to wipe out his sect, so the second elder vowed not to die. You immortal. You don't know what's good or bad. The Pavilion Master, what nonsense are you talking to him? Directly obliterate the 2 elders and send the corpses back to the 10,000 Fire sect. I don't believe their sect can hold their breath, and as long as they take action, we will be justifiably thorough. Conquer them. In the crowd, a seemingly lean man sneered. Among these dozens of people, only Qingyun Pavilion Master 4-star Fighting Immortal late-stage strength, and this lean man half-step 4-star Fighting Immortal. The other powerhouses are all about 3-star Fighting Immortal perfection. Qingyun's words are reasonable. Then let's end it. After a while, the Pavilion Master of Qingyun Pavilion slowly raised his palm, and a trace of wind energy slowly condensed in the palm of his hand. It seemed small, but it actually contained murderous intent. Qingyun old sloppy, if you want to kill the old man, even if you die, you will have to peel off your skin. Looking at the extremely terrifying fluctuations in the palm of the Pavilion Master of Qingyun Pavilion, the second elder who was seriously injured looked in a trance, and then the body suddenly it became violent. A trace of green flames continued to emerge. Looking at this battle, I actually wanted to explode. I want to blow myself up, it's too late. Wind profound palm, fall down. Seeing the old man in front of him act like this, Qingyun didn't have any hesitation. The terrifying fluctuations on the palm of his hand brewed, and then the figure exploded, and the palm stood in front of his chest and attacked him directly. Choke. Just when Qingyun was about to attack the second elder, a huge black ruler accurately blocked his attack completely. Who? Get out of here! Seeing that the attack was blocked, Qingyun's face suddenly became extremely angry, and he couldn't help shouting loudly. Hey, Sect Master, you are so confused. Sending reinforcements like this will undoubtedly be tricked by these guys. Suddenly, aware of a strong attack, the second elder's pupils slowly closed. It is inevitable that the crystal veins will fall, but if the sect is sending a strong person to rescue, I am afraid that their entire sect will face a life and death situation. Wait, this is a formation. The next moment, the second elder's expression became surprised. Purgatory Ray, give me a bundle. Just when everyone hesitated, a hot flame suddenly emerged from this underground cave, and then the entire cave was instantly destroyed by a scorching molten world. Replace. Continuing from the previous episode 1566. It seems that this time there is a guy with good strength. In the molten world, everyone in Qingyun Pavilion stood slowly, and the dazzling fighting spirit on their bodies was exerted to try to resist the erosion of the molten slurry, but they found helplessly that these molten slurry to be able to pass through their do-chi defense and directly erode their do-chi. The molten flame contains a very special power. If it goes on for a long time, I am afraid that they will be directly eroded without any bones. Second Elder, are you alright? After a while, Xiaoyan's figure instantly appeared in the molten world, so he retrieved his heavy ruler, and then came to the second elder and whispered. Your Excellency is... The second elder was stunned when he heard the words, but from Xiaoyan, he could not feel the slightest killing intent, and even a hint of the same family. I was sent by the Spiritual Academy. Xiaoyan said lightly, 3-star Fighting Immortal late stage? The next moment, the second elder was secretly surprised. Second elder, please restore your strength first. This guy is strong, and it may be difficult to rely on me alone. After Xiaoyan finished speaking, he left some medicinal pills behind, and immediately set foot in the Purgatory formation. Now the formation pattern has barely reached 40,000, which is enough to trap the powerhouses in the early stage of 4-star Do Xian, but the strength of this old guy in the late stage of 4-star Do Xian may be a little tricky. Xiaoyan stood in the center of the molten world, looking at the formation pattern that had just reached 40,000 on the formation stone at the center. Looking at the people in Qingyun Pavilion in the molten world, he couldn't help but speak. You guys stay here, this guy, let me come. After a while, Qingyun's face became strange. Obviously when he raised his eyes and saw Xiaoyan, he understood that this guy is Ling Yu. Named one of the 2 people who need to be arrested, and although his strength is only in the late stage of Samsung Do Xian, but it can be valued by Ling Yu, I am afraid it will not be a simple person. Although I don't know why Ling Yu wanted to arrest him, but the powerhouses in the late Sengxing Do Xian period might not have any power to fight back. I didn't expect you to be Xiaoyan. As soon as the figure moved, Qingyun's figure came directly to Xiaoyan's side, and said indifferently. You are the Pavilion Master of Qingyun Pavilion. Qingyun, a powerhouse in the late stage of the 4-star Do Xian, is indeed extraordinary. Seeing this, Xiaoyan did not rush to act. In his own formation, he had many advantages, but the huge gap in strength between the two is also very obvious. Your formation is good, but unfortunately there is no restraint on me. It just so happened that someone offered a high price for your head. I didn't expect that you would be delivered to your door automatically today. Then I'll accept it without hesitation. Feng Yuanshu. A cold snort appeared, and a cyan battle chi appeared on Qingyun's figure. After a while, his body moved freely inside the molten world like a ghost, and in a short moment, he attacked Xiao Yan. Hot explosion. Seeing this, Xiao Yan felt a sense of heaviness in his heart. Obviously, the pressure Qingyun put on him was the most tyrannical one since he entered the central territory, and he didn't dare to be sloppy immediately. Not bad speed, but trying to compare the speed with my wind attribute is a bit unwise. Seeing Xiao Yan's speed also skyrocketing after performing his fighting skills, Qingyun sneered. Qingfengtian fingers. The two chased after one another. After a while, Qingyun's body slowly stopped, and the bright blue light on his body slowly condensed on his fingertips, a touch of restless and violent energy. Spontaneously. Boy, take me a finger. Boom! A dazzling energy suddenly emerged from his fingertips, and with dazzling destructive power, it instantly turned into a 100-foot finger, directly locked on Xiao Yan, and roared away. The first finger of the sky, call the heaven and earth. Xiao Yan saw this, his face was solemn, and he could clearly smell a dangerous aura from Qingyun's seemingly random finger. The attack made Xiao Yan extremely solemn. Crash! At the same time, the dazzling big heavenly flames on Xiao Yan's body gathered at his fingertips, and at the same time, 100 Zhong flame fingertips quietly met Qingyun's blue fingertips. Boom! The asterisk collided, and silent energy ripples suddenly spread around the molten world, but the attacks of the two were evenly matched at first, and the next moment, it was Xiao Yan's attack. The rout of the flaming fingers emerges. Hateful. Second finger. Broken the sky. Xiao Yan's face sank as he saw the flaming fingers that were gradually retreating and retreated, and a dazzling finger was pouring into it, so he was able to destroy the attack. For this reason, Xiao Yan, but it took a lot of vindictiveness. It seems that you are no more than that. Seeing Xiao Yan taking so much trouble to resist his own attack, Qingyun couldn't help shaking his head and said, "This guy is not so tyrannical, and I don't know why Ling Yu wanted to arrest him, but out of his own caution as the Pavilion master, he still went all out." Hoo-hoo! Swallowing the flames. Xiao Yan heard the words, but he was not ready to keep his hands. The bizarre exercise route of swallowing the flames in the body ran out, and immediately a small red cauldron was slowly suspended in his chest. Great Heaven Seed, Fire Heart Heaven Rock, Ghost Face Soul Flame, swallow it for me. After a cold snort, Xiao Yan's strength suddenly jumped from the late 3-star Fighting Immortal stage to the peak level of the 4-star Fighting Immortal early stage. Oh, and these secret methods, it seems that you have something good on you. When I capture you, I must interrogate you well. Qingyun looked at Xiao Yan's sudden terrifying aura, and said with a smile, with his strength, he was able to detect Xiao Yan's appearance like this, and he was able to improve his performance in a short period of time. Qingyun was extremely surprised by the 2-star level secret technique. If he captured Xiao Yan and forced him to find out the secret technique, he would also be able to gain a lot of benefits. It can't be delayed. After Xiao Yan's strength has skyrocketed, his face is still extremely dignified. The pressure that Qingyun put on himself is too tyrannical, and this guy is also an old Zhonghu feat come. With a cold snort, the Yuohang ancient ruler was immediately removed behind him. The figure rioted, and shot directly at Qingyun. Small tricks for carving insects. Seeing this, Qingyun saw a bright blue do qi appearing all over his body, and then he continued to deal with Xiao Yan. Spirit Devouring Blood Monument. After the battle was unsuccessful, Xiao Yan's body contained *** special energy suddenly burst out and shot towards Qingyun. Boom! Rao was completely imprisoned by dozens of blood-colored stone tablets because of Qingyun's dazzling power. In an instant, Qingyun's power and fighting spirit were suppressed by these stone tablets from the late stage of the 4-star Do Xian to the middle stage of the 3-star Do Xian. Now, let's see what else you can rely on. Today, the two of them, Xiao Yan's 4-star Do Xian early stage peak, and Qingyun is only the middle stage of 4-star Do Xian's strength, so Xiaoyan naturally has the power to fight. It's really a guy with endless means, no wonder he is valued by that adult. If this is all your means, then today, you can only fall here again. Facing Xiaoyan's suppression of the spirit-devouring blood monument, Qingyun did not feel any loss. Emergence, and just when this frenzy emerged, the molten world in the purgatory map shivered a little, and the source of the tremor was because of the man in front of him. Quote, 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 quote. Continuing from the previous episode 1567. No, this guy has used real means, Sir Xiaoyan, be careful. Qingyun has the existence of a wind-type heavenly seed on his body. In an instant, the second elder, who was working hard to recover his fighting spirit, couldn't help shouting loudly. When it comes to the 4-star Do Xian, the strength of the heavenly seed and the quality of the fighting skills are the keys to completely determine the battle. Among the heavenly seeds, the fire element heavenly seed possesses unparalleled destructive power, while the wind element heavenly seed has the power of destruction. Extreme speed and sharp power. The great heavenly seed of the wind element? Xiaoyan immediately frowned upon hearing this. Today's Qingyun is deeply trapped in the purgatory map, and his strength is vaguely suppressed to the level of the middle stage of the 4-star fighting immortal, but if a big heavenly seed is added, I am afraid that the gap between the two will still be at a certain level. Enlarge. Boom. I'm very interested in your secret technique. So, Yuan Ying, come out. In an instant, Qingyun's face became strange, and he immediately shouted. As soon as the voice fell, Qingyun's body was immediately surrounded by circles of cyan energy that completely covered his body, and even above that cyan energy, there was a trace of spirituality. Hoo. The cyan energy is the power of the wind element great heavenly seed. It just appeared, and suddenly in this purgatory formation, it brought a hurricane all over the sky, and it faintly weakened the power of the flames of the molten world. It's such a tricky wind element heavenly seed. Seeing this, Xiaoyan also shook his head secretly. Now that he was blessed with the flame-swallowing technique, and the purgatory array map, he felt quite pressured against this guy. Yuan Ying, is my wind system great heavenly seed. Tianyuan hurricane dragon. After a while, without waiting for Xiaoyan to react, the dazzling energy of the great celestial seed on Qingyun's body squirmed, and then slowly condensed in the void in front of him. Emerge slowly. Purgatory array. Condense. Xiaoyan raised his palm slowly, and then suddenly squeezed it, directly forming a 100-jong giant dragon with the power of flame in the entire purgatory array. It seemed that the two were evenly matched, but Xiaoyan understood. I am afraid that my attack will still not be Qingyun's opponent. It seems that we can only try mental power and soul power. Seeing the two fighting each other, Xiaoyan also had an idea in his heart. Now, after using the flame-swallowing technique, if you don't use holy flame, you can't completely kill Qingyun, so he can only work on his soul power and spiritual power. However, Xiaoyan has only a limited understanding of spiritual power. Mental strength. Shendong core inscription. Condense it for me. At this moment, Xiaoyan did not urge the core inscription of Shendong to condense the formation pattern, but directly urged the inscription itself, and suddenly a strange power suddenly emerged from the Nigong Wan. After coming out, with the help of Xiaoyan, it was injected into the body of the purgatory formation dragon. Give it to me, tear him up. He didn't notice Xiaoyan's actions, he directly controlled the cyan giant dragon in the hurricane. With an order, the cyan hurricane brought the cyan giant dragon and roared at Xiaoyan. Blast away. Hold me up. Xiaoyan bowed his head, but he didn't give in too much. A hint of decisiveness emerged, and the purgatory formation dragon, which was injected with the special power of the inscription, also whistled and attacked Qingyun. Boom! The cyan giant dragon and the fiery red giant dragon just collided, and circles of extremely terrifying energy ripples continued to fall off their bodies and scattered towards the molten world. What's going on? After a stalemate, the blue giant dragon was the fiery red giant dragon that didn't tear Xiaoyan, but the two were inextricably fighting for a while, and Qingyun couldn't help but wonder. That's the mysterious power that motivated the inscription to appear with spiritual power? Xiaoyan originally thought that he would be defeated by this attack, but he did not expect that the fire dragon, which had been injected with special power, would be evenly matched with its attack. Spiritual strength is still too weak, and the information I know is too little. It seems that we have to find a time to solve this problem. After all, I always feel that soul strength and spiritual strength seem to resonate. Xiao Yan finished speaking without hesitation. There was a glimpse of stunned eyes in his eyes, and then he closed his eyes gently, sitting directly in the void of the molten world. The dazzling soul power all over his body was suddenly mobilized, and an irresistible coercion went straight from Xiao Yan. Diffuse out. New 81 Chinese website updates the fastest computer. Now, I can only try the power of the soul, and although the power of the soul is tyrannical, it does not have the power to really kill the powerhouse in the middle stage of the 4-star fighting immortal. Damn boy, what the asterisk is this trick? Seeing Xiao Yan exerting the extremely strange power on the fire dragon, Qingyun couldn't do anything for a while. Feel a sense of fear. Pavilion Master, look at that kid. That seems to be the fluctuation of soul power. How tyrannical. In an instant, Qingyun, a half-step 4-star fighting immortal powerhouse, suddenly opened his mouth, and his voice was filled with fear. This is the soul power of Fairyland. How is it possible? While the two giant dragons were still in a stalemate, listening to his subordinate's words, Qingyun's expression couldn't help but look at Xiao Yan entrenched in the void, but he was surprised to find Xiao Yan the soul power that emerged from the whole body turned out to have reached the Fairyland. Pavilion Master, you can't hold on. This kid is too weird. The last blow. After a while, Qingyun, a half-step 4-star fighting immortal powerhouse, was also speaking. The last blow. If it fails, it can only be considered in the long run. After a short while, Qingyun also made a decision. Obviously, Xiao Yan and Xiao Gui were targeted by Ling Yu for a reason. Yuan Ying. After a few breaths, Qingyun's body suddenly emerged with the power of a cyan wind system, and then turned into an incomparably huge giant eagle in front of him. The giant eagle is blue all over, but the sharp giant claws and blue feathers all over it are extremely sharp, as if a slight touch can kill them. Go! Shuanglong stalemate for a while, then slowly disappeared, and just at the moment when Shuanglong just disappeared, the giant eagle condensed by the origin of the wind-type celestial species suddenly burst out with an eagle cry, and then suddenly flapped its wings and shouted www. Link to novelmtl.com blasted towards Xiao Yan, and the space exploded wherever he passed along the way. New 81 Chinese website updates the fastest mobile terminal. https skeptical smiley face, Sir Xiao Yan. Alas! Seeing this, the second elder below sighed helplessly. Immediately, the surrounding flames emerged and went directly to Xiao Yan's body. Just because Xiao Yan bought so much time for himself, he said that he wanted to protect Xiao Yan. Hoo-hoo, gaze, the pupil. In an instant, just as the cyan giant eagle was about to attack Xiao Yan's body, Xiao Yan's pupils slowly opened, and even above his head, a strange pupil with a strange color flashed. It was also along with Xiao Yan's eyes that opened. At this moment, the countless flame forces in the molten world became quiet in an instant, and they even expressed fear, as if they were afraid of the demonic pupils above Xiao Yan's head. This pupil, about the size of a dragon's eye, has a grayish-white color as a whole, but a trace of cyan flame lingers around its pupil, and under the lingering of this cyan flame, the pupil exudes a very greedy smell, seems to have the mysterious effect of devouring all things, so he slowly stared at Qingyun in the distance. Gulu. Being stared at like this, Qingyun only felt a burst of dizziness, and was suddenly shocked. Run! In an instant, Qingyun didn't have time to think about it. A space scroll appeared in his palm, crushed in an instant, and the people of Qingyun Pavilion also disappeared here. Peefed. With a sound, Xiao Yan's figure in the sky fell into a coma with everyone leaving. Opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis. Continuing from the previous episode 1568. Good boy, he is really a brave and careful person. He actually combined the power of the holy flame of Ghostface and Soul Flame with the pupil of staring. This kind of courage is a bit incredible. As Xiao Yan fell into a coma, the attack in his body suddenly the Soul Lord couldn't help but praise. Staring eyes, it's just a soul interference fighting skill. Although it can attack the soul to a certain extent, it is quite weak against the late-stage 4-star fighting immortal powerhouse, but this soul interference fighting skill was added by Xiao Yan to the Ghostface spirit. The power of the flame, and the power of the Ghostface and Soul Flame is extremely special, so it seems that some mutations have occurred. It not only has the power to attack the soul, but also has the strange power to attack the human body. This kind of power is a bit terrifying. Moreover, according to the estimation of Soul Eater, if it wasn't for Xiao Yan's first use, he would probably be able to completely obliterate Qingyun with this move. However, you are a little too arrogant, forget it. After some struggles, the Soul Eater took action and repaired some of the damage Xiao Yan caused by this new fighting skill. Otherwise, it will affect Xiao Yan. Its future potential. Lord Xiao Yan? After a while, Xiao Yan's body was also caught by the second elder, and the second elder burst into tears. How could he have thought that this guy was actually the biggest contributor to saving their crystal veins? And don't forget, at this time, Xiao Yan was only in the late stage of the 3-star fighting immortal, which made him, the second elder in the early stage of the 4-star fighting immortal, ashamed for a while. Come here, send Lord Xiao Yan to the depths of the cave to take good care of him. For the rest, follow me to sort out the crystal veins and search for the third elder and others. After checking again and again, he found that Xiao Yan was not in serious trouble. It was just because the conflict between soul power and vindictiveness temporarily passed out, and the second elder immediately left 2 guards to guard Xiao Yan, and immediately took the remaining few people towards the outside of the crystal vein. Second elder. Are you all right? After a while, the 2 elders and the third elder's men and horses also slowly gathered, and the figures of the 2 were all right. What about Sir Xiao Yan? Once asked, the third elder couldn't help but ask. Lord Xiao Yan temporarily passed out, and the pavilion masters of Qingyun Pavilion were all driven away by Lord Xiao Yan with his own power. Seeing that the crystal vein was not damaged, but lost a lot of guards, the second elder, it was also distressing. Now I can report peace with the sect master. This time, the Lingyuan has sent an incredible manager. Our Wanwo sect is hopeful for the revival. After a while, the third elder said in Dudu, "Come on, the rest of the brothers take turns on duty and strictly guard the crystal vein. If there is any trouble, report it immediately." After a short while, orders were issued in an orderly manner, and at the same time, Qingyun, who escaped from the crystal vein with the space scroll, the people in the pavilion looked extremely embarrassed. The pavilion. What kind of magic trick did that Xiao Yan use? Our disciples are actually insane, as if they had been robbed of their intellect. In a narrow mining area, Qingyun looked at the accompanying people. The several disciples were mad and strange, as if they had lost their souls, and couldn't help roaring. From the beginning to the end, he didn't know what happened, but when Xiao Yan finally showed his strange pupils, a force of destruction came out, and then the pavilion master used the space scroll to escape. This Xiao Yan is not easy. The attack just now should be a rather tyrannical soul attack, but even I can't resist it easily. As for why they did this, I'm afraid they were infected by the mysterious power of the pupil at the moment when the pupil appeared. After a while, Qingyun said solemnly, "Go back first, think long-term, this Xiao Yan, it's not that simple. However, what we lost this time, we will make Xiao Yan, this bastard, pay back 10,000 times in the future." A resentment emerged, and the pavilion master of Qingyun Pavilion brought a few delirious subordinates and slowly returned to the sect. However, Qingfeng, who was accompanying him, was also seriously injured in Xiao Yan's hands, which made the entire Qingyun Pavilion's hatred for Xiao Yan and the 10,000 Fire Sect reach a new height. It was just this trip that Qingyun never imagined that the master of his dignified pavilion, a late-stage 4-star Do Xian, would be shriveled in the hands of a late-stage 3-star Do Xian. In the depths of the crystal vein, with the departure of Qingyun Pavilion, a rare calm was restored here, and with Xiao Yan in charge, there was news that a late-stage Sangxing Dushan powerhouse had defeated the pavilion master of Qingyun Pavilion. No one dared to make up their minds. The dark cave under the crystal vein is asterisk. The cave was obviously dug out to mine the crystal vein. Therefore, the cave is surrounded by some precious crystal stones, which are used for lighting. At this time, the cave is deep. Oops! A voice sounded slowly. Xiao Yan's pupils opened slowly, his palms were raised and kneaded back and forth on his forehead. The last moment of opportunism almost caused Xiao Yan to be attacked by soul power. The existence of the master of the soul. I am afraid that the current Xiao Yan is already a half-dead person. Sir Xiao Yan, are you awake? Is there a serious health problem? As Xiao Yan just woke up, the figures of the second and third elders came into view at the same time. "Where are the people from Qingyun Pavilion?" Xiao Yan couldn't help asking. The vague memory made Xiao Yan vaguely remember that at the last moment, he used the soul interference fighting skill Eye of Gaze, but he added the power of Saint Flame to himself, so just now when it was displayed, it suffered the backlash from the spiritual palace in the soul realm and passed out, and when it woke up, it was now here. The people in Qingyun Pavilion were repelled by the adults. The power of the last blow was extremely powerful, and it directly knocked out several 3-star fighting immortals in Qingyun Pavilion. I was afraid. I crushed the space scroll and ran away. Right now, the entire Central Territory is spreading the news that the Lord defeated Qingyun in the late stage of the 4-star Do Xian with his strength in the late stage of the 3-star Do Xian. The second elder said with a gratified smile. That's it. Seeing this, Xiao Yan also lay down at ease. Second elder, how is the crystal vein now? After a while, Xiao Yan asked. Reporting to the Lord, this time the crystal vein was attacked by the Qingyun Pavilion, and we lost a lot of disciples, but the crystal vein was guarded by us, and with the reputation of the adults, there are even many good seedlings ready to join us. The 3 elders laughed. The fallen powerhouse will be buried well, and newcomers who try to join our sect must investigate carefully. Xiao Yan said slightly. Yes. The 2 elders immediately admired Xiao Yan even more. Okay, let's do this for now. After I have a few days off, I will sort out the affairs here at Crystal Vein. As soon as he finished speaking, Xiao Yan also issued an order to evict guests. After all, the soul interferes with the combination of fighting skills and holy flame. The power is not bad, but it still has a lot of sequelae. It must be restored to normal before going to the Acacia tree, otherwise it will affect the later itinerary. Yes, my lord. When the 2 elders heard the words, they also nodded secretly, and immediately backed out. Continuing from the previous episode 1569. In the Wanwo Zongmen, Sect Master, new news has come out from the depths of the crystal veins. At this time, a bewildered guard quickly entered the 10,000 Fire Sect's base camp through the dark passage, and immediately danced towards the sect conference hall, looking extremely excited. Where's the letter? Bring it here and I'll take a look. At this time, there were only the suzerain and the elders of Huiyan in the hall. After hearing the news from the guard, Huo Yi got up and walked towards the guard, holding his palm up with one hand. The letter above was picked up. Crack. Okay. In an instant, a wild laughter, accompanied by the sound of bones rubbing between palms, suddenly sounded in the hall, and Huo Yi's face also showed a burst of ecstasy. In the past few days, Huo Yi tried several times to send reinforcements to the front line to rescue the crystal veins, but Xiao Gui intercepted them all, so he complained about Xiao Gipo, but Xiao Gui didn't explain much, just a sentence, wait. They dismissed Huo Yi, which made Huo Yi sleepless. After all, once the crystal veins were lost, they would not only lose the cultivation resources, but also the mainstays of the second elder and the third elder, the 2 4-star fighting immortals. Go and invite Lord Xiao Gui. No, I'll do it. After a short while, Huo Yi couldn't help laughing. Obviously all this seemed to be expected by Xiao Gui. Hey, Sect Master Huo. I'm here uninvited. I don't know how this battle report is. After a while, Xiao Gui's voice slowly walked into the hall, and then asked Huo Yi with a smile. Master Xiao Gui expected things like God, and the crystal veins have been defended. And I'm not afraid of the adults' jokes. Lord Xiao Yan used his own strength to defeat Qingyun, the late 4-star Do Xian, the pavilion master of Qingyun Pavilion. This news has already come from the Central Territory, and if he hadn't witnessed Xiao, I'm afraid I can't believe Master Yan's terrifying combat effectiveness. Huo Yi couldn't help but squeeze the palm of the letter tightly, and a rush of generosity emerged, which was simply too relieved. You don't need to worry about Big Brother's strength, so I couldn't keep it closed before, just to prevent Tingfeng Pavilion from taking the opportunity to attack us. The crystal vein crisis is lifted. Now, no one should object to my actions, right? After a while, Xiao Gui said, taking advantage of the situation. In the few days that Xiao Yan left, Xiao Gui showed the demeanor of a generation of rulers, and issued several rules that were in line with the development of the 10,000 Fire Sect, which made the disciples of the entire sect become more united. Wan Huo Sect, all rely on 2 adults. Huo Yi heard the words, and immediately respectfully said, obviously with these two people in charge, they're Wan Huo sect, why are you not strong? In the crystal vein, the elder brother will manage it. We don't have to worry about it. The next step is Tingfeng Pavilion and Qingyun Pavilion. Their two pavilions unite to deal with us, then we will take care of others and take care of them. Qingyun Pavilion is strong and powerful, let's ignore it for the time being, but Tingfeng Pavilion can take the opportunity to start. Xiao Gui is not a soft persimmon, and immediately said domineering. What's your best policy? Asked the elder Huiyan. After all, the overall strength of Tingfeng Pavilion was stronger than them. The acacia tree has already appeared, the manager of Tingfeng Pavilion will naturally go there, and by virtue of his status, he will definitely bring the powerhouse of Tingfeng Pavilion with him, and the big brother will also go there, so we can take advantage of the emptiness. Enter. Xiao Gui smiled. Everything is according to what the Lord said. At this moment, Huo Yi finally understood why Xiao Yan and Xiao Gui got the affection of the old ghost of the earth spirit. With both of them, the mere acacia tree couldn't get into his eyes. In the crystal vein, a month passed quietly. During this month, Xiao Yan's battle reports continued to spread, making Xiao Yan's reputation in the central territory prosperous, but Xiao Yan stayed behind and repaired his soul power. Some guys who deliberately wanted to compete with Xiao Yan had no choice but to give up. A month later, Xiao Yan's power also regained its peak, but the location of the acacia tree, which is not far from the crystal vein here, was not known for some reason. And the news of the acacia tree also spread throughout the central domain. Sir, what's the point of calling us together? After a while, Xiao Yan had just returned to his peak, and immediately summoned the second and third elders and other strong men. Second elder, third elder. This time, the main purpose of calling you all is to distribute some things left behind. I have to go to the acacia tree. Deep in the cave, a simple bed and some daily necessities, 3 figures, slowly illuminated by the spar on the cave wall stand. Sir, although the acacia tree is quite tempting, it is also extremely dangerous. Why don't I bring dozens of elites and go with the adults? The third elder nodded secretly when he heard the words. The 3 elders have good intentions, but the power of acacia under the acacia tree is extremely special, and no matter how many people there are, they can't take advantage. And because of me, our 10,000 fire sect and Qingyun Pavilion have a complete grievance. I am worried that after the news of my departure is leaked, the guys from Qingyun Pavilion will be killed. Xiao Yan said worriedly, it's not unreasonable for your lord to worry. After all, apart from your lord, the late-stage master of Qingyun Pavilion's 4-star fighting immortals is the most difficult one. The second elder frowned upon hearing this. Second elder, if you encounter an invincible enemy, crush this beam of light, it will help you out of the predicament, but remember, if the crystal vein is lost then go back to the sect to guard. Wait. I came out of the acacia tree, and everything is being planned. After a while, a dazzling beam of light slowly emerged from Xiao Yan's vindictive sea. The beam was about the size of a fist, and it was impossible to tell what it was, but the second elder had just taken it, and immediately smelled a power that was not inferior to Xiao Yan at all, and even this power not only contained extremely terrifying power. Power, a strange power of thunder, quietly permeates. Remember your instructions. The 2 elders nodded slowly when they heard the words. They knew Xiao Yan's purpose and naturally nodded. No need to send. I immediately left the dark passage, and immediately headed towards the acacia tree. 2 elders, the crystal veins are here, you can act according to the circumstances. Xiao Yan's figure suddenly moved, and then there was a trace of residual sound. Xiao Yan knew that there seemed to be someone behind the Qingyun Pavilion, and they were so plotted by him that they would never give up so easily, but if they angered Xiao Yan, then waiting for their end would be a complete fall. Respectfully send off your lord. The light group was slowly put away, and immediately the 2 elders also bowed respectfully to the void that Xiao Yan had left. At this moment, the matter of crystal veins has come to an end, but this trip to the acacia tree, although Xiao Yan has obtained great fortune, but this 10,000 fire sect and even Xiao Gui, it is because Xiao Yan angered Qingyun Pavilion, thus falling into a state of inexorability.